This podcast is powered by Stone Electrical, your one-stop shop for all domestic and commercial electrical installations. And for the fit, I'm repping Powers of 10 Attire, an underground streetwear brand taking over the scene. You're watching the What's Happening podcast. I am joined with James Heneghan, pro boxer, middleweight. James, thanks for joining me. How are we?
I'm good, thanks mate. How are you?
Good. James, what age did you start boxing?
Started boxing when I was about 11 or 12 really.
11 or 12?
Yeah,
Where did you first start?
I first started in a gym called The Ridal. It's like in Kirkdale it is.
In Kirkdale?
Yeah, because that's by where like my nan lives and like my dad lived over there.
You from around there, are you?
No,
Originally,
my dad's all my dad's side of the family are, but I've always lived over in the Wirral. Like,
Have you, so what your dad just took you over there?
Yeah,
good gym and that?
Yeah, it's a good gym and the coaches were good coaches there, and I stayed there for first year in my boxing. I was there, and then I moved to Tower Hill then in Kirby, which I spent really most of my amateur career at.
Yeah, I seen you were in Tower Hill. I was watching a video when the guys were saying, the commentator was saying like you were in Tower Hill, like. But what made you start boxing though, James?
I think my dad always been around the boxing gym and like always seen him on the bags, and he's always been doing a bit of training. So, and like I didn't really like football. Like I couldn't take the football, weren't the best at it. So, I hate being shit. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I went to boxing.
And you just took that to a duck like water?
Yeah, and then I took to it, and like once I started seeing like I enjoyed it and I was getting better at it, sort of like gets addictive then, doesn't it? You want to keep doing it, you want to keep being
once you punch someone in the face, you just want to do it again, don't you? Or some people, it's when you get punched in the face, you want to get punched again, don't you? You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I was just wondering, because like, so did your dad fight?
I don't think he fought. I think he's just been around the gym for years,
So it was that one of his mates in the gym you first went to? Yeah,
that was it. Like a few of his mates went there and like he knew the trainer there anyway. I think he used to go there, do sessions, so it was just easier for me to go there.
Did you have any fights from there?
Yeah, I think I had my first 2 from there, and then I think like the rest I had like about 20 for Tower Hill, I had a few for the Salisbury and a few for Bootle.
Did you fight for the Salisbury?
Yeah, 4 for the Salisbury.
Great gym. Fantastic gym.
Yeah, probably one of the best in Liverpool history-wise.
Well, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're now with Four Corners now, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been there since I turned professional.
Yeah, John Gilly.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't
he? The thing is, like, he's been around the block. Like everyone who knows the boxing from around here, you should know John Gilly. Like if you want to go, you're striking. I'm sure. Am I right in saying he worked with Tilly every now and then? For striking?
Yeah, he's Darren's mate as well. So like he's known him since he was a kid, and been with him for a lot of his UFC like fighting. He's been there doing like his weight cuts with him, sitting in the saunas with him, stuff like that. Yeah. But just striking wise, I think from MMA striking to boxing to your kickboxing, your Thai, you can do it all really.
Yeah.
That's why we've got such a wide gym, like all different fighters in there.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, like the thing is with John, like from what I've figured out is if anything comes down to striking, he's your man to go and see. Really, like, and it's more about he works on the movement as well, doesn't he, James? And that's where, like, as you saying before, like Tilly, you see the way he strikes, and it's very dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, I look at yourself. You're very patient when you're fighting. But we'll get into that in a soon. But with your amateur fights, James, how many amateur fights do you know? Do you know how many amateur fights?
I had about 40, lost about six or 7. I think I could have had more, but I think sometimes the amateurs when like you've boxed a lot of kids in the area, it's quite hard to get fights then, and sometimes like. Because I only started when I was 11 or 12, but I didn't have my first fight till I was like 13. So, you know, it's some kids had like 100 fights, and like especially there's a lot of kids in Ireland and like you Russians and that, they have like 200, 300 fights by the time they finish amateurs. Like Lomachenko had like nearly 400 amateur fights, and I don't know how they managed to get them all.
It's like, especially like in Mexico, do you have like you're having a fight every week?
Yeah,
2 fights a week if you're good enough. You know what I mean? It's madness. But yeah, so did GB come looking or anything?
I was on the England youth team for like the England youth like talent team it was called or something for a bit, but never got about for them in the end, because I think I joined them for the last like 6 months as I was a youth, and then I turned to senior. Then you sort of like start all over again, and I didn't end up going in a tournament as a senior because I hurt my hand the week of the weigh-in. So you
haven't fought no other countries?
No, I fought other countries. I went like away for like my club, and then I boxed in Holland. Boxed in Denmark and Ireland as well. I think boxed like I boxed the Danish national champion in
the Europeans?
Denmark. No, that was just a box cup, that like an international tournament. Boxed him and beat him. Boxed there. I boxed one of GB's like #1 middleweights now when I last boxed in Holland.
Yeah.
So
Who's that?
Lewis Richardson. I think he's on the Olympic qualifiers now.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a good kid. He's a good lad. First fight as a middleweight as well. That was.
But he's, as you say, like, you're not pro now. You know what I mean? He's still doing in the amateur, doing the Olympics. So you're probably going with a better route as well, especially with who you've just been signed by, Frank Warren. You know what I mean? But we'll get back to that again very soon. So what? No GB, no. So
no, I think just because the way I fight, like GB, they're very technically
points.
like and they like everyone like your hands to be up in certain places. And sometimes my style doesn't come across as like what GB coaches will teach you. It's like it's not what you're taught to do really. Because I like to put my hands down and
you do.
I like to move a bit different to what you're usually taught, and that's just what works for me. So
you remind me a lot of Josh Kelly.
Yeah,
like, do you know, like the way he's got his hands down and it's very come forwardy, and you're very, and you're southpaw as well, so it's an awkward fight there straight away. But talking about styles there, so when you're saying you fought in different countries, what was the hardest, like what like countries you fought? Because like Brandon said, like he fought an Indian, and then he said in India they just come straight forward and they just relentless. So like, what was like the hardest style, like your country you fought?
You know what, I boxed a good Irish kid in Ireland, and he was just tough. He was just a tough kid. Hard, I think he'd had like a lot more fights to me at the time as well. I think it was only like my 15, 16 fight, and he had about 80.
Yeah.
So he was a good kid, and the Danish champion I boxed, he was good as well. He was just tough. Like technically he weren't the best, but strength wise and like just hard, he had a lot of it.
Yeah.
So it was a good fight.
But that's it. You got to have heart when you're in the ring, haven't you? Like as I say, like if you're male fighting, you've got to get in that ring. You've got to have big kahunas. You know what I mean? Like you know, like Hoppy and Lou Watkins. Lou Watkins. They both had the fight.
Yeah, white collar fight.
Yeah, they had the white collar fight, and Hoppy came off, and I came up straight with Hoppy and I said, "Listen, you've got balls. You know what I mean? To get in that ring, you've got to, you know, you're brave." You know what I mean? As you said in the last podcast, like people can die in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what age did you go pro?
I went pro. I think I just turned. I think it was. I want to say I was 20. Yeah. I would have been 20. A couple months after my 20th birthday, and like straight away I just went to John because my dad knew him anyway, and the other coach in there, Mick Steve, he's a very good coach technically, and he knew them both in there, and he just said, "Couldn't we have a look at me?" And so I went there and I'd done a few sessions, and straight away I just clicked with John. Like the way he didn't try to change my style or nothing, which is a big thing for me. Like a lot of coaches, like sometimes will try and change it.
They'll try and take it. I was like, when you said that, I wanted to interrupt you there, but I'm trying not to interrupt you. So, it's great that you say that, because I've always said this. Like when you go to someone's gym, that coach will try and teach you that specific way. So, but it's hard. So like you've got someone who's taller with a longer reach, but you're teaching someone who like me, who's shorter with a shorter reach, the same ways to fight. So for me, if I was going to fight, I'd want to work it inside. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be on the outside. I want to try and get on the inside. So it's great that you say that, and like that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's why John Gilly gets that reputation for being like one of the best, because he'll work you. You know what I mean? And like he's got so much experience. He has. As I say, like I was one of the podcasts, one of the fights. I watched the commentator said like we both had a little go with John, haven't we? And one of them said you have, I just got my head punched in every time, you know what I mean? And because he's that good, you know what I mean? But
so it was just after 20, and then I started, like we just first thought, we said we're just gonna train for a few months, just learn the pro game, because it's completely different from the amateurs in every way. It's tougher. It's you know, obviously the amateurs, like you'll find your first few fights you probably won't have like really hard fights, whereas you're probably fighting towards the end of your amateur career like top kids, so
top of the level, at that level.
So like some people, I can understand some people saying the amateurs, like it's still a very tough game, and it's very fast paced. Them 3-minute rounds, it's all out, and it's in and out like a very quick pace. But the pros, it's a lot like the footwork, like you slow your footwork down, you put a lot more power shots in. It's more brutal because it's over longer distance, and you know you're trying to break your opponent down in there. So
I do think the amateurs is hard, because as you get one setback in the amateurs, and it can affect your whole pro. Like it can take you right off your track, and you know, especially when you're in the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like, don't get wrong, some of the best, and you got to look at it, like some of the best, like some of the WBC fighters. If you look at where they came in the Olympics, You've got some bronze fighters, some people who finished silvers. Not everyone finished gold, but like the people who don't even just like drop off, as we were saying last week, the week about Anti-Go-Go. You know what I mean? It's such a shame about his eye. You know what I mean? Like it's bad. But you fight when you've gone pro. What age are you fighting? Like what the ages of fight you fought?
I think everyone I've fought probably been like
30s, aren't they?
30s. Yeah, I don't think I've really fought no one close to my age.
I seen one. I don't know if it was your second or your third fight. Because you're 5-0, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was your second or your third fight. Someone had like 60-odd fights, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that was the lad from Nicaragua. I think he was from, fighting out of Spain. I can't remember his name, but he'd had about 40, 50 fights. And, you know, he'd fought good experienced kids as well. And that's why some of these journeymen, like, you get in with them and like they know a lot more than they let on. And sometimes you see it when the things they do to get out the way, like, most prospects up and coming don't have as good a defence as the journeyman because they know how to survive in there.
That's it. They are just survivors out there. They're just not that good. Like, and I seen you said like it does your head in when you're fighting people like that because once they feel your power, the shadow like they're in. You want to fight who can come towards you, and I can see that with your style, mate. Like you're a middleweight and. You're a bloody brave kid to be in a middleweight. You're telling you right now because I personally think in that middleweight division, you know, you got the heavyweights, they're all heavy hitters, but they're all big.
That's it.
You know, you got the flyweights, they're all fast, but they're all like small, so they're all fast. In the middleweight, you've got the combination of speed, power. It's both, and like that's why I personally think that's the hardest weight. Middleweight is the hardest weight, and it's the most fun to watch.
Yeah,
you got like the Triple G, Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? Like you got some of the. That to me is the main weight in boxing, and you all stepping in there taking on kids straight on. And that last fight that you had, the guy, when I seen the pictures, James, he looked bigger than you.
Yeah, he did.
But you were big. You weighed more than him and everything. I was like,
that
doesn't make sense. But then it's obviously your muscles. You're carrying it more with your muscle. You know what I mean? But that last fight, you impressed big time.
Yeah,
very much. When I seen it, I was like. This guy, you can get there 100%. You can get there. You're patient. You got the speed. You got the movements. You got the power. And what I do like when I'm saying patient, like you throw a couple, but you're not getting. Considering you've only had 5 fights and you're quite. How many amateur fights did you say you had?
40.
40. So you've had like 40. Really, you've had 45 fights. Yeah. When these people out there who've had hundreds by now at your age or at your level, and. You're going in and showing him, like, and you're not going in rash.
Yeah,
you're coming in, bim, getting out, taking a little breath, coming in, getting out. You're fighting a lot like Kate Taylor. You know what I mean? The way she comes in, takes as a little go, boom, gets out. Yeah. But what was it like there in your last fight? Like with no crowd, like because you probably had more crowd at amateur fights than you have there. How many people were there, James?
There was probably about 50 people, 60 people in the whole venue, and like most of them are like. You have like people there who obviously like you have the medics there who check you after a fight. You've got the BT production people who were like setting up the cameras and stuff, and then people just like making the show run and that really. And
so there's no one even watching the fight, is there?
Not really at all. So it was weird. It was weird because obviously you used to noise when you're walking in, and when you throw a shot, you're used to noise straight away. So it was a weird experience. It was one of them where you've got to get used to it. And you've got to sort of just make do with what you've got there. And you can't let it affect you. I know some fighters, especially like these massive ticket sellers, like Josh Warrington done, he fought and he's used to having like half a lead there when he fights. So when he fought in an empty arena, it probably was a lot different for him, might have affected his performance.
Yeah, I feel like some fighters, they get an ego. Once they get to a certain level, they get an ego. And I feel like having no fans there to see them, like they think, everyone's here to see me. I think it dents their ego, you know what I mean? And like, but like that's why like I feel like it might have done well for you though, James, because the fact that you've just came from the amateurs and like you haven't been getting these huge crowds just yet. Hopefully, we're looking like we're going to be getting back to crowds very very soon. So hopefully, do we got any? Do you know anything about our next fight, James? Or
they've told me around July. So
July. Nice.
So not too far away, and I think they have said people should be allowed back in as long as everything keeps going the way it does. So
nice.
Be nice to have people back in there. It's because as much as it's different not having it in, obviously I think every fighter would prefer the noise. Yeah.
Well, I think like it might have helped you because you haven't had like these big crowds and that. Like, but as I say, like these big people, they've I feel like it affects them, James. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not having, and that's why it helped Canelo. You know,
Yeah.
the big fight in Texas and all that. What a great fight, though.
Yeah.
Did you watch it, James?
Yeah, he's
It's a
class.
great fight. That little bit, he's solid, and he's the best in the world.
Yeah, there's no one comes close to him. I think is just the way he keeps developing, he keeps learning. Some fighters get to the top and then they sort of like they can't go any further. But he just looks like he'll keep getting better until he does retire.
Well, it was mad because everyone was talking about it on site the other day, and I said, listen, like he's like a robot. He's like a cyborg. Like Billy Joe kept on coming down every time he's taking a shot, and it was like as if he was processing it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, to get that so accurate, so precise, and to break your eye socket, you've got to be precise, James.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so easy to go a little bit off and you get the back of the head in it. Like, he literally just boom, and what a punch. But yeah, like, what was it like being on the BT card? Was that your first BT?
Yeah,
was it
first BT card, first fight under Frank. So
yeah.
It was. I'm used to like obviously the difference in the pros is the fights are a lot more like high profile and like there's more to them, but this obviously was another step up from what I'm used to still, and
a bit more professional.
Yeah, you go down there, like you have to isolate in a hotel, you have to get your COVID test done, then you had all like your media stuff going down, getting like your pictures done, your shorts, your big weigh-ins,
interviews and stuff like that.
The more interviews than you usually do, and then like all just stuff like that. It was all just like a lot more high end, really. Like, so.
That's what I can imagine. Like that's what.
Yeah.
You know, when you dream of like a boxer, and then you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing this. Like you got press conference.
Yeah.
Like that's what I personally think that's what you're going for. So like, who was you with before Frank Warren?
Yeah, I weren't promoted by anyone. I was just managed by like Warren Boxing, which is Frank's nephew.
I was going to say, is his not his son? No.
No, it's his nephew, but his dad, so Frank's brothers, helps him run it as well.
Yeah.
So it's all like a family. Like it's all the Warrens that really are in
Have you met Frank?
No, he was at the show, but like obviously with COVID and that, like you just had to sort of stay out the way of everyone once you go out the ring.
Because I personally like Frank. Yeah. I like most of his fighters that he's got as well. I think he produces some of the great fighters.
Yeah, he does.
I personally do prefer him than Eddie Hearn, to be fair, because I feel like you get what you give him with Frank. You know what I mean? He doesn't mess around. You know what I mean? But is Tyson still with Frank?
Yeah, Tyson's still with Frank. I think Frank's got a lot more like up and coming developing fighters where he seems to just get the ones, especially now he's expanding. It's like obviously they've got all the American fighters and he's got fights from all over the place.
He's more bothered about his own.
Yeah, that's it. And I think Frank concentrates a lot more on the up and coming English kids and getting them going really. So
it's good.
And it's good, and he likes to put his fighters in good fights as well. Like he won't protect them the way some promoters do.
I like Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, I do.
I think I was a bit gutted because I was like, Daniel Dubois, he's the English Deontay Wilder. The way he, like, if you get hit by him, you stay hit. Because if you look at him, like, when he first came through, he was hitting you and you were staying hit. You were getting knocked out straight away. And but like it was gutting about his eye and that. But Joe Joyce is Joe Joyce Frank?
I'm not too sure what's going on. He's I know they've mentioned him again, so I presume he might be now. Maybe after that fight, he signed him up. But he done well. I didn't think he was going to win the fight.
I feel like he's too stiff. I thought Daniel Dubois was just going to hit him, but no, he showed. He's just like bim bim bim.
Yeah, he shot. I think he shocked most people. I didn't think most people saw him win it, but we won in a fair play to him because I thought he was going to get knocked out, to be honest, once he got it. But I don't know. I think maybe might be they're talking about him, and I don't know who they was talking about him for fighting soon. So see who he gets announced with.
Yeah. So do you know this style that you've got, James? Like, where did you develop that more in four corners, or did you develop that earlier on? Like, because you've always had this style.
I've always had the style where like I think I've got good reactions, and I think my instincts are good where know when to not be in a place to get it. So I've always sort of had that, but like I noticed it as I was a kid. It won me a lot of fights, mainly more than my talent did, really. Like that was just natural instincts. I think I was getting through on most of them on. But then as I sort of got older, I sort of developed it a bit more. And I think in Taurilla with Paul Bennett, the head coach there, that's where I brought it on more and more. And then once I got to four corners with Gillies, he sort of just brought it on like up and up and up.
More about your footwork and stuff like that.
And then a lot of power as well we worked on. And now we've got like a mix of where I can move, but I can still throw shots from all angles with power. And I think that's what I was sort of missing. And it's brought a whole new side out into it.
Well, like you remind me, like your stance. You remind me of like a lot of an older school fighter.
Yeah.
In like and I mean that in like in a lot of respect, because boxing now, like textbook. When I talk about British textbook boxing, it's changed the way that boxing was. Like
Yeah.
you're like you know you're very in out slip out, very nice boxing, James.
Yeah,
very nice
clean.
boxing, James. Yeah, and as I say before, you remind me a lot of Josh Kelly. Your hands are down. Do you not? You're never in a bit of fear. Like when you got your hands down, do you feel more comfortable?
Yeah, I feel it's with me. I feel like I've tried it before in the amateurs when obviously coaches have told me, and like I'm not just gonna say like I'm not gonna not listen to them. You always get told to listen. So when I have done it, and I just feel like I react a lot slower and I don't see things the way I'd see them with my hands down.
Well, that's probably they as well. They probably don't see your hands, James.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you do. I like as well. Like when you do your movements, you're always looking for a body shot.
Yeah,
I've always said like you always go for the body shot. First round, body shots only. Yeah, body shots only. Get the hands down. Yeah, and then you can start working to the head, can't you? You know what I mean? And like with their movements in out. There was a boxer in our gym, Billy Bacon. He's got very good footwork, but like you're just so like, it's mad how good you are. You get in out, slip around, and. It's like, have you ever seen a drunken boxer?
Yeah.
You remind me a lot of him. Like a Prince Nassim.
Yeah, it's different styles and it's awkwardness. And I think as well, when you've got like a bit of a different, unique style, it's hard to train for because you've not really seen much of it. Especially
so like when someone's, it's not even just that though, James. It's finding a southpaw who can do that.
Yeah,
do you get what I'm saying? So like your fight, when you're training, when you try, because you always got a sparring partner who's very similar to the one the person you're fighting. So they've got to try and find someone who's got a very awkward style with a southpaw. Bro, I'm not being funny. You're not going to find one. You know what I mean? But
many.
Like I honestly do believe like you're going to go very far. Like where do you see yourself in like 5 years, James?
Most importantly, just still winning. That's the main thing, and then. In 5 years, would like to pick up a few belts. What belts you are, I don't know. It depends on how quickly they move me with my fights and that. But I definitely in 5 years, I would like to think at least a British belt.
Yeah.
I think if I didn't win a British belt in 5 years, I think that'd be down to me not developing or something would have went wrong. Because with the way I get coached in four corners and then the time they put into me, I think. That's something I could definitely do as long as I kept improving and kept working.
Well, 100%. I personally think you'll have it within your 10th.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan.
I personally do think. And is Frank or anyone said like how many times do you want to try and get you out in a year?
Yeah, I think I'm meant to be out 4 times a year, so hopefully get this one in July and then 2 end of year ones, and then that'll be me for the year. Then
because me personally, I was looking at it and I was thinking, when would he be ready for a title shot? And I was thinking personally, James, I'd say 2 years. 2 years, that's when I think if you're getting out four times a year. I was thinking, if you get out 3 times a year or even twice a year, give it 3. If it's twice a year, you give it 3 years, and I think you'll be ready for that title shot. But like, because there's only one British middleweight I actually like apart from yourself, like, and that's Felix Cash.
Yeah.
I think if you got down with him, then that's when you're cutting yourself with the big boys when you get down to that point. It. But like when you're saying like you're 5-0, do you know the WBO rankings? The guy who's second, I can't pronounce his name. He's from Kosovo.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like loads of these new Kosovo or maybe Kazakhstan.
Yeah, it'd be like one of them. Eastern Europeans.
There's a lot of new fighters that are coming through there. You know what I mean? And but he's only 9-0, and he's second ranked. So he's like ready for that contender for the title shot. 9-0. So that's really like it's. But that's where we end in us British boxers, us British fighters. They think you've got to try and get to like 15, 20 before you can. I don't think you. I think with your style and all that, I think you can get there, James. Give it 2-3 years, yeah, mate. But like let's just look at your weight now. Yeah, the middleweight. You got Triple G.
Yeah.
So like Eubanks is a middleweight as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you like Eubank?
I don't like his personality as a fighter. I rate him and respect him, but as a person, I just think the way he comes across does himself no favours, does he?
No, he doesn't at all. I don't like the way he is with like his dad and that as well.
Yeah.
But Fury versus AJ. That's one that's coming up very soon. Well, not very soon. August 18th, I think it is.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia. Don't know why it's not in Wembley. Who do you reckon?
I just think Tyson Fury, I just don't think no one beats him.
No one beats him.
At all. He's,
not one person
it's his mindset above everything else, the way he is. He getting up from that shot that Wilder put him down with.
Yeah. If you get knocked out by Wilder and wake up like that,
nah,
bro, there's nothing that can stop you.
Don't get me wrong, I think AJ can hurt him and put him down, but I just don't see him beating him.
I don't know, mate. I personally think like 5 rounds.
Do you reckon?
Fury 5 rounds gonna beat him. I think he's gonna AJ's gonna tire. Personally, I think especially by the 5th round, I think he's gonna tire, and Fury's just gonna bim. Because like you've seen, like everyone's talked about, like Wilder's never actually really been hurt, and if he does hurt, he recovers.
Yeah, he recovers very well.
He's great to recover. Fury didn't recover once against him. You know what I mean? And if you can do that to Wilder, people put disrespect on Wilder's name, and I personally really like him. Yeah. I like him a lot more because the fact that why he's got into boxing, the fact that it's his daughter.
Yeah,
his daughter's got like scoliosis or something like that. And like me personally, like because he's fighting for medicine for his daughter, he's fighting to keep his daughter alive, so he's got a will. You know what I mean? He didn't start till then 18 or 19 or something like that. He started, and he's literally knocking out everyone in that division. That power, like I love that.
Yeah,
I'd like to bring him into the AJ. So I want to. So you think Fury wins AJ?
Yeah.
Who do you think wins out? Like AJ, Fury, Wilder. Like who's the best out of them 3?
I think Fury's by far cleared in both, and then I think Wilder's better than AJ. I
think he'd knock AJ out.
I think he knocks AJ out.
Yeah, he does easy.
Yeah, I just think if they both start swinging, I just see Joshua going down before Wilder does.
100%. I think that anyone like the thing is with Wilder, you have to win.
Yeah,
you have to win every single second of that fight.
Yeah,
Wilder only needs to win 1 second of that fight.
Only takes him one shot.
And he'll just end you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel, but there's also Andy Ruiz who's coming in. I feel like it was bad the way that after that AJ fight, he beat AJ, got his titles. AJ got them back, and then it was just like picked them up and just put him straight in the bin. Like it was just like
forgotten about.
Like where was his 3rd fight?
Yeah.
And like talking about 3rd fights, like this AJ and Fury fight, I don't think that should happen just yet. Like I know people are going to think like, but Wilder signed a 3-fight deal with Fury.
Yeah,
they've had 2 fights, and now Wilder's sitting back while them 2 are making 100 million each. Wilder's got to step in and say, "Where's my money?" Because I've been waiting for the Fury. You know what I mean? So, but I think if the AJ fight does go ahead, which it is, I think Wilder should either go with either Usyk or Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, I think Ruiz and Wilder be a good fight, especially Ruiz is looking in shape now a lot more than he was since the AJ rematch. He's with Canelo's trainer, isn't he?
Yeah,
Eddie Reynoso. So, and he's a very good coach. He's proved that by Canelo and then all the fighters that he's got at the minute. He's got like that Ryan Garcia.
Well, hasn't he? I seen a thing saying he was left boxing. Ryan Garcia.
You think he was scheduled for a fight where anything took a break or something. So
well, I was thinking that he's left it to be a TikToker and all that. But I seen him training the other day. Like he put a finger up training. And I thought, what's this kid on about, mate? He put a finger up saying the other day, I'm leaving boxing for a bit. And then next thing you know, he's training saying like I'm ready and that. Like I just don't get the kid, to be fair.
Yeah, I think he's a very good fighter, but I think sometimes he lives a bit too much for like the Instagram side of things, doesn't he?
Well, I'll tell you what I personally think about it, right? I think he's really quick. Yeah. He's rapid.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's he's probably the fastest boxer out there, but his weight is too scary for him.
Yeah,
you've got Devin Haney, he's the number 1, Devin Haney, because Tank's just moved up to super heavyweight, super heavyweight, super lightweight. Yeah, he's just moved up. So I think what he's waiting for is Devin Haney to just go, listen, no one's going to fight me.
Yeah,
no one's fighting me. So I'm going to leave this, because once you've got the WBC for a certain amount of time, if you don't fight, it becomes vacant, doesn't it? Just gets taken off you. And I think that's when I think that's when Ryan Garcia is going to come in and go for it. I think that's why I think he's actually scared of them, because I think Devin Haney, he get killed within a couple of rounds with Devin Haney. With Tank, I'd say 3 rounds maximum if he's lucky, because I don't think he's got all I see there is speed. You know what I mean? And like I've got this thing, like when I was saying before, like boxers, you've got speed, power, or you can take a shot. You got movements and all that, but like you're born with three of them things. You're born with either power, speed, or you can take a shot. You know what I mean? So if you've seen it in like Triple G versus Canelo, Triple G threw a heavy punch. Both landed naughty punches, and they just both took it on the chin. Nah, you know what I mean? Yeah. And them two. So when you're fighting against someone who you use all your power and you bang, and then that's your main attribute. If he can take it all day long, that's your main attribute, taken away. And that's where I do think speed is, but I don't think he can take the shot.
No, he got put down, didn't he, by Luke Campbell?
Yeah, Ryan Garcia, yeah. I like Luke Campbell.
I think Luke Campbell's been very lucky not to win a world title. Considering I just think the weight he's in is too tough.
Yeah.
I think he's a world level fighter, but obviously he was unlucky against Linares. Linares is a very good fighter. Then now he's got Devin Haney in his weight, Tank. Teofimo Lopez, obviously, he beat Loma. Loma, you got Loma,
yeah.
You got that weight. Just it's very hard weight to be a world champion in.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think Luke Campbell could win a world title. Just I think some of them fighters need to be.
He's still young as well, don't he?
Yeah, he's still got time to win one.
He's got that again before. He's got that textbook British boxing. Like he's got like the AJ standing like the boxer. I've not got that.
Yeah, no.
You do not stand the box. You've got like if anything, a Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, just something different, isn't it?
Yeah, something different, and I like that. Like I like. Because I was saying before about we were saying on last podcast about styles. Like I like it. I like the fact that it's completely different.
Yeah,
it's completely different. But so, is there any boxer that you looked at and you try to take that style from?
I think as a kid I watched a lot of Nazim. I think Nazim's the first boxer that I watched in.
My dad loved that.
Yeah, he's just class. Everything about him, like his movements, the power he could get from moving. He was a super featherweight or featherweight punching a middleweight, and like he was just blasting through his opponents with these crazy shots, and then
crazy confidence as well.
The way he acted, getting carried in thrones, and that he was a character, wasn't he?
Well, that's it. My dad used to go all over the world to go and see Prince.
Did he?
Yeah, he's been to Philadelphia. He's been all over the place to go. And my dad used to. That's why I've got me proper love for boxing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean. Like my dad used to go all over the world to go and watch it. As I said, the last one he went to Texas and to go and watch the boxing and that. But yeah, me personally, I like Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
Yeah.
I just love, like I've said before, I love the Mexican type of boxing. But if you were to have like a top 5 boxers, without not trying to put you on the spot to try and think, but like who would be your top 5 boxers of all time?
All time, I'm gonna go Nazim, Mayweather. Who else am I gonna put in there?
Tyson.
Roy Jones.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I like Tyson, but he's never I've watched his fights, but you just think because I just like the different styles.
Yeah.
Also, Canelo's in my top 5, just because of his style as well. I think his defense the past few years has been untouchable. Really, he's very hard to hit clean, and if you do it, he's hitting you straight back.
Yeah, straight back.
And then,
have you ever seen much of Lennox Lewis?
Yeah, another great, isn't he?
Yeah, I personally, because like Lennox lost 2 fights in his whole career.
Yeah.
And them 2 fights, he never trained for them.
Yeah.
One of them, he was actually filming Ocean's 11. He was filming Ocean's 11 while he's meant to be fighting, while he's meant to be training for this fight. He wasn't. He was just acting by that time. It was coming to the twilight of his career. And I think if he didn't lose them 2 fights, he'd be looked at like, I personally think he's the greatest English boxer of all time. Probably, but if you're talking British boxers, probably Joe Kawasaki is probably the best British boxer.
Yeah, definitely.
Joe Kawasaki, mate. See, he's the guy who doesn't get talked about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Roy Jones, great boxer, but Kawasaki. Joe Kawasaki got knocked down in the first round by Jones, and then for the rest of the fight he just slapped him around.
Yeah.
Joe's hands were that bad, because he punched that many people. He couldn't punch anymore, so he had to slap with the side of his hands, and he's still done a Roy Jones. Roy Jones still in his fighting, not fighting prime, but still at a good level, because Roy Jones is still, like, I think it was like 2 years ago he only retired. He he came out of the time to fight Mike. I think it was 2 years ago. That's when he actually retired.
I know he did fight on late, and
yeah,
he
very
carried
late.
on late, fighting late. But
it's a shame when they do that, because you look at the record and it just takes away the whole record, doesn't it? You know what I mean? You look at the record and you go, that's what I mean. Like people when like people look at Julio Cesar Chavez's record and you go, look how many losses he's got. But then you realise, hang on, he went 90-0.
Yeah.
Like if I was to say, Floyd, you got 50-0.
Yeah.
50-0. If you were to continue fighting for another 100 fights, do you think you'd lose more than 6? I think he'd lose more than 6, definitely. 100%. And that's all he's lost. I think pretty sure he's only lost 6 fights, Chavez. Like, but yeah, like if you were to ever have like a dream fighter, like to fight, who would it be, James?
No, I'd like to fight Canelo just
to be in there with him,
especially at the minute with the way he is and the way he's beating everyone. Like he just obviously beat Billy Joe on the weekend, and Billy Joe was a slick southpaw, and everyone said he's going to cause him problems. And then obviously for Callum Smith, the fight 2 fights ago, and Callum obviously hits very hard for the weight, massive, like 6'2", 6'3", and I thought Callum Smith was going to cause him problems. And then so all these different styles that everyone's saying, he just seems to be overcoming them. So I'd like to get in there and see for myself how good he is.
Yeah. Have you sparred with any of the Smiths?
I've sparred Callum last year in summer, and obviously it's just good to get in there, you know, the experience, and because he's massive for the weight, and everyone knows how strong he is, but technically he makes like not really any mistakes. And when you're in there and you're seeing it for yourself, you're just learning constantly from him. It's good experience. It's good to get in there from him. And when you get spars like that, it puts you in good stead then for when you get in these tough fights eventually, and you know you've been in there for the caliber of fighter that he is. And you know, at the time he was undisputed super middleweight champion.
Oh, was he? Yeah, at the time,
he held all the super middleweight belts, I think, apart from the WBC. So it was good to get in there for him.
Oh, that's sound. Well, that's it. Yeah, actually having like that professional experience. Like, did you have a little chat with him or anything? Like,
and you know, having like the chats with them, and then even just sparring, you know, like the good level pro fighters that you do get in with. Like, then when you're getting in with them, you're mixing with them, it brings you on really. And I think for me, sparring's the best part of boxing, bar the fighting, because
you learn the most.
You can't really
spar. You're not
like
doing it.
There's nothing as similar to it. Like you're getting hit, and you've got to be switched on constantly. And even the spars when like they're just light tech spars, you can still pick up things from them. Just even your defense and your timing, because that's the main thing in boxing. When your timing's off, you can either look like a world champion, or you can look like you've never fought before.
How was your last camp?
Good. You know, we only really got 2.5 weeks for it, I think. We only
you got 2.5 weeks to get ready?
Yeah, we had 2.5 weeks, lost like stone and a half, I think. Made the weight easy still in the 2.5 weeks.
No damage, no
damage. Yeah. We only got like one proper sparring, so I picked up like a light knee injury.
No, I mean like when you cut weight, because like, I don't think they should. I think the boxing needs to do more about cutting the weight, because it's dangerous on the fighters. Like I watched the Darren Till podcast with, I think it was James English, and he said like he cut that much weight, he went blind. He was running trying to cut weight, and he just said like he seen the Asda, and he just went start blaring and all that. You know what I mean? Like I personally think he needs to do something about the weight classes. Me personally, because I don't think it's healthy. No,
definitely not. I think in boxing it's bad. Obviously, you get a lot of these fighters cutting down and like killing themselves really to make the weight. But the MMA's just
completely different.
It's 10 times worse. They get on the scales. I think it happened either last weekend or the weekend before that. There was someone getting helped to the scales by the coaches, and
I think I've seen
people like fighting on the scales. It's dangerous. I get you. Everyone wants to be big at a weight, but there's just no way in them 24 hours you can be healthy enough to fight, and it's not affecting your performance. Yeah, well that's it. I've always thought like why cut weight? Like why not, like like why put all that much on to cut weight as well? You know what I mean? Like if you walk around at a certain weight, then go to that weight that you're a little bit low, or even a little bit higher, so you can have a bit more power or something. Yeah. That's one thing I've never understood, and you can probably like tell me this now, Dave. Like some fighters, like say like Tank, I look at him and think he's big for a lightweight. Yeah. Like if he put a bit of weight on, like why would he go into the middleweight? Like is there anything that you think would affect him? Like to stop him like from putting the weight on to go up? Because I personally think he's a monster for that weight. I think like size wise and like width and like the size of him, I think he's big enough to be a lightweight for like the shape of him, but I think it's just his height that's the only thing that is the reason why he might not go any higher, because he's only small compared to the other lightweights. But he's got the power to carry him through anyway.
I'd love to see him versus like Canelo. You know what I mean? Like someone who, because he comes in, he's a lightweight Mike Tyson, isn't he? You know what I mean? He comes in, hits like a heavyweight. You know what I mean? He's brutal, isn't he? Yeah,
he is. He's unbelievable. It'd be good to see him against some of the other lightweights out there, like Tiafimo or Haney, Ryan Garcia. I think they were arguing a bit, weren't they? So just any of them fights. But I think that's the only thing that lets boxing down sometimes, is in the UFC and the MMA, that the best fight the best, because they don't all have different promoters. They're all promoted by the UFC. So Dana White forces them to fight. I think they get like maybe two. They get told you can fight one of these 3 fighters, and they're all good fighters. It's none of these like, you pick him, you can have this fight off this fight, an easy fight. And that's why like all the belts look good in boxing, but just creating more problems, I think, at the end of the day.
It is, like, because how many is there?
There's the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO maybe, and then there's like the WBA. I've got like WBA regular belts, WBA super. And the WBC Intercontinental, what it is. You've got like all different types of belts, or like there should just be maybe your British, your European, your world, and then your one world belt. Yeah. But
what do you think's the best belt? Like, because me and him were talking about this the other day.
I think it's the WBC for me.
Like, it is. It's the green
just
one.
Looks nicest.
Yeah, it does. It looks well nicer than the one I think it is. Like I think if you get the Ring magazine, then that's it.
The Ring magazine,
because you've secured all the belts. Like, that's the hardest. That's the one you're going for, really. Because if you got all the belts, then you've got that one. It's ugly as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? It looks like I was looking at it thinking, that looks like a dolphin's head on you. It does, mate. Looks like a dolphin's head and things. Yeah, like I personally think like the WEC is everyone's going for that green belt on. You know what I mean? But like how did we get talking about the weights? I get talking about the belts.
It's because
like you were talking about the UFC. Like in the UFC, it literally goes off the like. Do you know what I said before about that guy who's got 9-0, but he's second? That doesn't actually, like, as you know yourself, James, that doesn't actually matter, because he's not good. That number one, that number two might not fight number one as much as it should be. That should be the contention for number one, but it doesn't always work like that. You know what I mean? And like, I like Oscar De La Hoya, but I don't like Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I mean? I like him. I like him because he gets fights done. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I just don't. As Billy Joe Saunders was very aware of it. He was like, no, I want this I want a certain referee, and I want, because he knows it is, the boxing game can be very corrupt. It's been known to have very corruption in it. You know what I mean? When you're a boxer, you don't even want to like bother about that. That's the business side, which does my head in, because, you know, like Canelo was arguably lost 3 fights, arguably, like with including the Floyd one.
Yeah.
He's arguably lost 3 fights. Triple G and Lara.
Yeah. I think the Lara fight was very close.
Very close. Like, and especially because I think Lara's a southpaw as well.
Cuban southpaw. Yeah, them Cubans, they're taught differently. Yeah,
they're the best. They are 1000%.
Unbelievable.
You can't go pro though, can you?
No, I don't think it's something to do with the law in Cuba over there. I think if they're allowed to go pro, they'd be dominating all the world titles like they do in the amateurs.
1000%. Like, who's the heavyweights? Ortiz. Ortiz.
Yeah, there's Ortiz.
He's 45.
Yeah, and he's still
killing it. Like,
he's still
and he's only allowed to come pro at 40.
Yeah.
Like, one of his sound like your amateur career's over. You can go pro. That's all it is. It's just, that's why they're the best in the Olympics. They are the Cubans. It's their national sport, and that's why they're not allowed to go pro. I don't get it. Why aren't you gonna like? Because think about what that would do for Cuba.
Yeah, it'd be massive for them.
It would, like, I think it would actually, like, because Cuba as a state, as a whole, like, as a country, it's very poor. Like, they have no support off America and all that. You know what I mean? Like, it's what happened in the 80s and that. I think 70s or 80s. But yeah, like, since then they've like the likes of Hawaii and Samoa, they've literally defended. They've gone on themselves, and that's where you see. If you ever see the cars that are in Cuba, they're all like hot rods and all that. Yeah, they're all old school cars, because the old school cars you could just change a bit and it'd be back working. You know what I mean? And like, that's why, because they got no nothing else comes in, and that. They just live off themselves, and I love that. But yeah, I think if they allowed the boxers to go pro, the money in Cuba would come back up, and they'd be thriving, mate. Honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I think like the Cubans that have moved to America and turned pro, like your Rigondos, your Gamboa, they've all went on to win world titles and beat massive in boxing Ortiz as well. So and Lara, he was a world champion. So I can't really think of any Cuban boxers that come over and didn't do well.
Yeah, and I can't like that's one thing my dad's always said to me, like you've got to keep an eye out for the Mexican boxers and the Cuban boxers.
Yeah.
But my dad said Cuban boxers never go pro. So when you're watching the Olympics or anything like amateur, keep an eye out for the Cuban, and you'll see straight away like the rapid, they come in out. I just love boxing, me, mate. I love people watching people get their heads punched in. But, like this was like what I really like is like when the press conference. And this is 1000%. This is true. Like when you're in the press conference and like people are giving hate and you're hating each other, and you build, all you're doing there is building a fight, aren't you?
Yeah. It is.
These not real. Don't get me wrong. Some are real bad blood. Some of them aren't. But then after it, if you don't knock the fighter out, James, like straight away you hug each other because it's respect. Like
it is,
I've given you my best, you've given me your best, and we're both still standing here. Respect. You know what I mean? Like. And that's where it comes into the gentleman sport. You know what I mean? Like, I basically think it's a science.
Yeah, it is.
It's a science, mate. And like, you've got to, like, you watch some people and they'll throw a punch and you don't even know how to throw a punch, James. It's like, that's what I mean. Like, it's not as easy as going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to. It comes literally from your big toe.
Yeah.
That's where it extends from your big toe to your ankle to your knee to your all up your body to your fist. You know what I mean? It's more about your hips. You're busy your hips, but your power does come. It's mad how it comes in. It comes to your toe from the twist of your toe, doesn't it? And like, it's mad all the science. That do you have to do any like sports science with your training?
And not really. Just with us and the way we look at it, it's more like I suppose I could kick a football now, but you know I'm not a footballer. It's the same with boxing. I think like you talk to people about boxing, and people say, oh. Like, you know, it's just you hitting someone and them hitting you. But then you think deeper in, it depends how you do look at it. You know, you get some of these Mexicans and their whole way they go about is they'll hit you and they'll be tough. They'll take shots back. But it's, you know, a lot of like the fights, especially the fighters with the style like I've got, it's about where like, you know, where you can get punched from. If I throw that shot, what's coming back at you, then where you need to put yourself to not get hit. If I throw this, can you get hit? And
keep the distance.
Yeah, you know, you've got to think what's coming back, and then you know what are you open for, and then like the more like what I've realised is especially now especially in the pro game, it's all about like setting traps for your opponent because it's obviously longer rounds and stuff, and it's like you'll throw a few shots just see how they react to it, and
a few feints.
Yeah, and then if they go for a feint, you'll know then right. I'll go for that in the later rounds when he's tired and you know his mentally he's not there. You'll get a lot of people then stuff like that, and there's a lot more to it than people think than just obviously like you getting it.
Well, that's it. Like when you're going over to that corner, people just think like when you're going over to your corner, your trainer's like what you're not seeing, your trainer is seeing. You know what I mean? The person who's in your corner is they're seeing the whole thing, so they're saying to you, listen, he's doing this, he's doing that. You know what I mean? Like, so because we don't hear it all. Like when we're watching on TV, we don't hear it all. We'll hear like, you know, you got to get in the inside. You know what I mean? Like because they're the ones who are seeing everything. You know what I mean? But like utmost respect for you, James, for to actually even just get into that ring, mate. Honestly, it takes a brave man. But then to even go pro with it, legendary. You know what I mean?
What's the difference, James, from like going from like amateur then to pro? Do you know what I mean? Like training wise.
Training wise.
Have you upped your training?
Yeah. Like you only train like 3 times in the amateurs and that stuff. Then you go on train like twice a day in the pro. So stuff like that's tough. Like I think that's something I didn't realise as well how hard it is, because you go from like doing like 2-3 hour sessions a week, and then like you're training every day, hard graft, sparring, running, like getting up for the hills 6 a.m, stuff like that. Daily. Then you got your strength and conditioning as well, and it's a lot tough, and you've got to like grow with that as well, and got to get used to it, and you can't really be skipping sessions or nothing.
As Brandon said though, like you got like when you get them championship, when you think training's tough now.
Yeah.
Wait until you get to them championship rounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you get to them championship fights, like it's going to be hard and tense. You know what I mean? But as long as you're willing to put the work in, you're going to get it.
I think in our gym as well, like because obviously I think we're a lot of boxing gyms would look different at it because they don't like it. They think if you're in gym, it's got to be just boxing. Like in our gym, because we've got MMA fighters, Thai box, kickboxers, everyone. I see that many people in camp and like watching the lads prepare for their like like we've got MMA lads now who Jack Grant's preparing for his Cage Warriors world title fight, and you watch him in camp, so you see how he's training, how hard his training is, how much work he's got to put in just for that fight, and then you sort of, because you're seeing it and you're seeing the work that's going in, it's like when it comes to me doing it, it's going to really be no surprise, and I'm sort of knowing what to expect. It's not going to be a shock to me.
Is there many more pro fighters in Four Corners?
Boxers or
boxers, yeah.
Yeah, we've got Carl Turney, he's a heavyweight, he's 2-0.
Yeah.
I think he's 2-0, he understand me different now, but then we've got Mike Edges as well. He's had 3 or 4 pro fights and lost none, won none.
Just younger fighters.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah, all good fighters.
Can anyone come to your gym, or does it have to be a certain level?
No, anyone can come to the gym. You know, we've got like amateur boxing and that as well. And like, obviously, if you want to go pro, I think Gillies will probably like take you on a pad or do a few sessions and see what you like. And then if he rates you and if he wants to take you on, he'll take you on.
Yeah,
I think that's the way he does it. But I think it just depends, because obviously the gym, because he's chock with a lot of fighters, I think.
And the COVID situation.
Yeah, it just depends on entirely on him at the time.
Yeah. So if you walk into the gym and you're good enough, he'll keep an eye on you and stuff like that.
I think.
Yeah. But that's good. Whereabouts the gym?
The gym's on Hanson Road in Walton, I want to say.
Yes.
I'm awful directions, yeah.
So if anyone wants to go down to the gym, check them out on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that'd probably be the best to try and get in touch with them.
Best of luck. And
it's Four Corners.
Yeah, Four Corners Combat Gym it is. It's always got like the timetables for every day in the gym, and it's not like everyone thinks the gym will just be like just boxing or just like MMA, but it's just a keep fit gym. You know, we've just got a cafe put in there now as well, so you can.
I've seen that. The food looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it?
Looks munchy, right?
I'd say you can train hard and then go get a little scran afterwards.
So is there like specific classes? So if you're going to go and do MMA,
yeah, there's MMA, there's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's wrestling,
BJJ.
Yeah, there's your Thai boxing, your K1 striking, amateur boxing, then the MMA classes are there. There's everything.
Does Gilly train the BJJ, or do you have someone else who comes in for that?
We've got 2 Brazilians who live in the gym.
Shit.
Yeah, and they're unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu didn't actually start in Brazil, but the country as a general just took it, and like they thrive from it. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to have BJJ if you want to do anything in MMA. If you want to be in UFC, anything like that, Bellator. If you haven't got BJJ, you're done. You get took to the ground and you just get punished. Like that is the most important thing in the whole of MMA is BJJ. Like, so it's good to hear that they actually do all these different classes.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I always thought that it was just because I've always known John Gilly is the striking king. You know what I mean? Like I've always thought, it sounded like you. I didn't know you was done all wrestling. All martial arts. Like that's cool. That. So yeah, if anyone's got any interest in any combat sports, hit them up, and we probably get the Instagram up now. But yeah, so yeah, hit them up and. Yeah, hopefully try and have a go.
So yeah, it's a good gym. Everyone has
any
a laugh
ages.
there.
Do you have youth classes? Or?
Yeah. There's the kids boxing's on there. You've got good coaches there as well who just starting them up again. I think they'll all be fighting probably towards the end of the year when the amateur boxing's back.
Yes.
The kids can do like the Thai boxing, and there's all sorts of classes. Then there's like just your circuit, just your weight classes. There's everything really. There's nothing you can't do there. That's
great. That. Well, James, have you got any sponsors you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I've got a few. I've got Virtue Water. They help me out a lot. OTS, Apex Management, Applied Nutrition, Wellness, CBD. I feel like I'm missing a few off here, but yeah, Powers of 10.
Powers of 10, the big boys.
Yeah, nearly missed them off there. Yeah, I've got a few, but I'll have to send you the link for them all, because otherwise I've probably missed a few.
Yeah, because I heard that Powers of 10 sponsoring your next fight.
You're gonna be on the kit. Gonna be on all the kit.
Love that.
I have the kit looking smart.
Well, that's what I mean. Like just before we end it off, I'd just like to say thanks for coming on, James. I really do appreciate it, and I'd like to kind of I like to see young people from around our ways doing so well. And I hope you go out, smash the whole life. And we'll get you back on as soon as you've had your next fight with and we'll be 6-0. You know what I mean? We'll be talking about it again. But thanks very much for coming on.
Nice one, mate.
Thanks for everyone for listening. You've been watching the What's Happening podcast. Stay tuned for the next podcast. Thank you and goodbye.